everyone surviving so far. Oh, they are not. Very hit.
Look at goes forward. What a move! That's some late braking, and that's what you want to see.
Lots of pressure put on the McLaren driver, but he's dealing with it like a boss.
Inside to the left, the full stick green, but on the outside, I think full stick it's a little bit too much curve, not just a soft there, thankfully it's been right. Hello and welcome guys to the stream. Just put that on. Hope everyone is doing well. Today we're just doing some hot lapping. Gonna do some hot laps at Kailami, so I thought we would do a bit of a stream as well. As you see from for the past 5 days or so I've been doing some Kyalami driving. I think it was Tuesday I started practicing, and then we had the race on Friday, and then I found a little bit of setup stuff last night, just about 2-3 tenths or so. So just going to try do a bit of hot lapping today, see if we can improve our lap time a bit. Aiming really to get down to a low to mid 140, because on Friday I think I did a 140.7. So I'd like to basically knock off about 4 or 5 tenths off of that. But that was on the SimZone server. Slightly lower temps, but only a couple duties. So now we've got to try and do a good one in the hot lap server. I think last night I was high 140 in the hot lap server, so just need to find like half a second or so. But the car felt a lot better. I found a few things with the setup, just adjusting like some damper settings and stuff, because that was the biggest complaint on Friday that I had with the car, was it felt awful over the curbs in the race. So I found just made the dampers and the spring rates a little bit better. Seems to be working. Just gives it a bit more stability over the curbs, and I also wanted the confidence in the car, because on the turn-in of some of the corners it felt very, very nervous. So I wanted the car to feel a bit more confident when you turn in. This right-hander here feels really stable now, whereas in quali I kind of didn't really have any confidence in the car going through there. So a few setup changes, and we just need to try and find some good lap times now. Maybe make a couple more setup adjustments, but mainly just focusing on trying to get some good hot laps in. So like I say, yesterday, or last night I should say, high 140s I've got with this setup, so we're aiming to find a couple more tenths of a second. Slow first sector, but nice and smooth. Just get our first lap in so we have some delta. Middle sector also felt quite good, but wasn't particularly fast. Oh, that was a bit late on the brakes. Probably could have gone down to first gear there. Feels really nice through that right hander though. You can take a bit more speed to it because the track limits are quite good on the exit. So you can use a lot of track on the exit. It's just the apex that you have to be very careful you don't clip the curb. Although you can almost like brush the side of the sausage curb, but you can't clip it. You can get very close to touching it without touching it. Messed up turn 1 there, a bit of a slide. Came off the brakes a bit too quickly there. Yeah, so a rubbish sector 1. At least we did a 41.3 to start off with, but ideally I want to get down to the mid or low 140s in hot lap, because we were high 140s on the Friday qualifying and in the hot lap server last night. So yeah, pretty much right off this lap. I'm going to struggle to improve on it. But the car's feeling good. Maybe I need to get it to rotate a little bit more, but it feels nice and stable, almost like it would be good for the race, but maybe just a bit too safe for qualifying. Could have it a bit more aggressive. I think in the race, Luciano said he uses first gear in that right-hander, but I'm sure in the Porsche I usually use second, so I'm not sure what's quickest in the Ferrari. Need to try first gear. Because the Ferrari does seem to want you to rev it out a bit. In the Porsche it was short shift and low TC, whereas the Ferrari it's like you want to rev it out more but have a higher traction control. So it's very different to how we drive the Porsche. You almost want to be in a lower gear with the Ferrari. Yeah, I messed up there. Just on the entry. Tire pressures are actually a bit low for the hot lap server. Just on the right hand side. Could maybe do with increasing that front right tire a bit. Oh, that right hander felt good. A bit quicker than the previous laps. Yeah, I found a bit of time in the final sector. Messed up my braking there. Struggling with the braking on the Ferrari, if anything. Not necessarily for locking up, just getting the right braking zones. It's definitely not as good as the Porsche was on the brakes. Hairpin was a little better. I think I was doing 39.8 in the middle sector when I was on last night. So that wasn't a great middle sector. I think I need to try braking earlier and shifting down into first for that right-hander. Maybe will give me a better exit. Let's try that on the next lap. Try brake a little bit earlier going to first gear to try and get a better exit. No, that was wide. On the grass. Still valid, but a bit too wide there. Messed up sector 1 that lap. Middle sector was decent though. Okay, so first gear definitely feels quicker on the exit. I maybe lose a bit on the entry, but seems to be able to get... It's like this final corner. I was taking it in second, but I found first gear quicker, so maybe just try for the next few laps using first gear for that right-hander, because I do think it is quicker. Or it feels quicker anyway. Oh, I just ran out of fuel. I was too busy thinking about how we were going to take that right-hander on the next lap that I didn't see that I'd ran out of fuel. Is there anything else I could do setup wise? I think, excuse me, I think maybe I'm just going to get a touch more on the what could we do? Just trying to think what the best thing is to adjust without making it too oversteery. I'm gonna try softening the front roll bar, and that's all I'm gonna do, and just see if that helps it. I'm not 100% sure if this will make it a bit too oversteery. But let's just try this. Sorry, I just got tagged in a Discord. No, that's not for me. Just RCI Endurance Notice 3. There was a tag, but I don't think it was for us. Right, let's try that again. Slightly softer front roll bar. Try and see what we can do. I mean, that lap that we did the 41.0, that was that the lap where I went wide on turn 3, I think, and I lost like 2/10. So the potential was about almost 2/10 quicker than our best lap, or a 10th quicker, I should say, 10th and a half, something like that. So I think we can still do, like, based on the delta, I think we could probably get a 140.7 if I get the lap together, but I still want to find another half second or so, because I think the quickest lap in the Ferrari on Popometer at Kyalami is a 140.2 something. So ideally we want to be around about that pace to be able to release this setup as a data pack, because ultimately if our lap time's like 3/10 slower, then no one's gonna buy it. So just want to find a little bit more lap time, maybe with a few more setup adjustments, and improve my driving a bit. If I can make a few more setup adjustments and get a bit more consistent with the driving, we can see. But I like how it feels in the penultimate corner, because I think on the Thursday night, when I was doing the last little bit of practice before the race, I was not very confident with the car turning in there. But just before the race on Friday, before we went into practice session, I did a little bit more setup building, and I found something with the dampers. I just made the dampers a bit better and adjusted some of the spring rates, and it felt so much more stable and comfortable going into that corner. So you can turn in with a bit more confidence in the car, and it doesn't feel like the rear is just going to snap, because you do not want the rear to just start sliding going into that corner. I still feel turn 4, this right-hander is a bit understeery, but in the slow speed corners it feels perfect. Just in some of the higher speed corners, it just, like, on the throttle maybe feels a touch understeery. Well, actually no, sorry, off the throttle. Turn 4 I'm off the throttle when it's understeering. Maybe make an adjustment to the rear differential maybe? We'll do a few more laps with what we've got just now, and then we will adjust it. Need to brake later for that right-hander. Braking too early. Forgot to change the tyre pressures actually. I meant to change the tyre pressures. Okay. Right, tyres are close to being up to pressure. Let's see what we can do now. Turn 1 was a little bit slow. Was smooth but slow. Because there's a lot more, at least another tenth in sector 1. Because I had about 2 tenths when I binned it last time. Nah, I think I need to brake earlier for that right-hander. In the Porsche it was like a tap of the brakes and then half throttle to stabilise the rear. Whereas the Ferrari you don't really need to use the throttle to stabilise the rear, I found in that corner, but I don't want the understeer, so I need to change my driving and maybe adjust the setup slightly for that corner. The problem is I don't want to make it so that it rotates really nicely in turn 4 and then is awful to drive on the rest of the track. Because ultimately you don't want to try change the setup to gain 1/10 in turn 4 and then lose a tenth on the rest of the lap because it's harder to drive. Yeah, that was a slow sector 2 that lap. Ah, that was nice. Little bit slow on the exit. Had a little bit of slide mid corner, so didn't quite get on the throttle early enough. Oh, missed the apex again in turn 4. Maybe try it in 3rd gear actually. Rubbish sector 2, unfortunately. Sector 1 was good, but not a very good sector 2. Right, we'll do another 2 laps, that's what we've got enough fuel for, and then I'm going to adjust the setup slightly. Just want to see if I can get a little bit more rotation into turn 4. Got a lot of lap time in the Delta though. See, that's probably going to change our potential's now a 0.8, which is what I was doing last night, so still need to find another half second or so. That turn 1 wasn't as good as what I did last lap. Okay, finally that was better. Shame I messed up turn 1 because sector 2 so far has been quite good actually. It's a decent sector 2. I think this might be a green sector for me. Oh, a bit of a slide on the entry to the hairpin. That's going to mess up the sector. Yep, messed up there. Oh, I clipped that. Too much. That's what I did on Friday in the race, but thankfully I avoided the wall because it was in the race. Just pushing a bit too hard on the race and binned it there. Right, so let me think about this. The thing is I will try this, but what I don't want to do is make the rear slidey, because if it's slidey on the slow speed corners, I can't put the throttle down quick enough because it just wants to slide. So I need to find the balance of getting the good rotation without it oversteering and just sliding everywhere basically. So let's have a look. Yeah, so a lot of time to find. Especially that sector 2 where we did the 39.8, there isn't much more in sector 2. There's maybe a tenth or so, but I know in the final sector there's a tenth, because I think I think there's a final tenth of a second in sector 3, but I'm sure either on Friday or last night I did a 30 like 0.8 or 0.9 in the first sector, and that's a 31 point almost 3, because I messed up that turn 3 here, so I need to improve that first sector quite a bit. I need to get that sector a bit more tidy, but there isn't much more time I find that I know I have in the lap or in the delta in the other two sectors. I don't think there's much more without improving the car and my driving, but based off what I've seen in the delta, there's like a tenth in the final sector, I would say, but it's the first sector that there's a bunch of time just there, just if we can get it tidy, because I went right wide here and as demonstrated, but because it was still valid I continued with the lap. Well, that already feels like it's got more rotation, but I also had a lot less entry speed, so we'll heat up the tyres and then we'll go again and see if this is improved a little. So the only thing with the new tyre model is you've got to do more laps to heat them up than you used to do, like 1.5, 2 laps, and they were hot. It was usually like out lap, and then you have your first lap where they're okay but they're not really hot, and then the third lap from you leaving the pit box was usually like your best lap, the third or the fourth one. That was usually the best for the tyre window, whereas with this new tyre model it does take a couple laps to get them into their optimum window, more so than the previous tyre model. Just means you need to run a bit more fuel and take care of your tyres on the like out laps and stuff, don't wreck them. Okay, let's try this now. Straight line speed hasn't changed much, which is good because I changed the ride height slightly. Ah, messed up the hairpin. Definitely feels a little better. Can't really tell how much faster it is because we're only on our also I think second gear might be a bit better there with this setup. I can't really tell on the first flying lap if it's that much quicker because the tires are still heating up, but it felt better, so hopefully it's quicker. Remember, we have a 0.8 potential, so we want to improve on the potential and then we'll know it's actually quicker. So let's see what we can do here. Try and get turn 1 a bit better. Oh, come on, outbrake myself. Feels better, but it's just difficult to tell if it's that much quicker or if it's just my driving. Oh, that felt nice. Last lap I braked too early, that one I was just a bit too late, so need to find a bit of a better braking marker for the hairpin. See if second gear's a bit quicker here. That's interesting, I don't really think it is. Or did we gain a 10th actually? We'll see on the next lap. I think I was 18 down and then was only 8 down after the corner, so I think maybe gained a 10th. So we'll try that on the next lap, try it in second. See what we can do this lap. No! Ah! Ah, touch the grass. Nice V360 though. Warming up the tyres, as they say. Just want to see what that looked like from the outside. Was it actually? How much did it actually touch the grass by? It didn't actually feel like I went that wide. Oh, I did go quite a bit. I was already sideways, I think, before I touched the grass, so yeah. Just gonna try one more thing and see what it's like. If this feels worse, we'll go back to what I was just using. But just after the first couple laps there, it's feeling better but not quite perfect. And so I'm just adding a little bit more rotation in the rear from the mechanical grip and the ride height. Just trying to increase the ride height, stiffen up the rear a bit more, just to see if that helps a bit. And let's try this and see if it's an improvement. As far as driving goes, I really need to watch turn 1 and turn 4, because that's where I'm fairly inconsistent with my driving. And you can see it's the braking for turn 1 that I seem to struggle with the most. I seem to really struggle with the braking. Okay, that was a bit wide. But just as I put the throttle down, that actually felt quite good. Even though it's on the formation lap. And that, even though it's the out lap, the tyres aren't up to pressure, it actually is feeling quite nice. It feels really good actually. Let's do our first valve lap, see what the tyre pressures are and that, and then do some push laps. Hopefully we find a bit of lap time, because this definitely feels better on the higher speed corners. So as long as it doesn't send me to the moon on the slow speed corners, I think this might be a bit quicker. Let's try this in second gear. Yeah, I'm going to keep trying it in first. I think it might. I'm unsure if second or first is quicker. What we'll do is we'll do this run and then I'll watch a hot lap video just to see what gear they're using. Because I always use second in the Porsche, but I'm wondering if maybe first is actually quicker. Because that's what Luciano was using in the race. But in quali I was using second gear. First lap on these tyres, well, valve lap, so lap time might be a bit slow, but it's a good test of the car. Well, that was definitely quicker, and I messed up on the entry with the braking, so, and I still found a little bit of time in turn 4. Oh, touch wide. Just enough to invalidate. Don't think that was the setup giving me understeer. I just took the wrong line slightly there. Just turned in maybe a bit too early for the right-hander. Just enough to understeer me on the exit. Yeah, I think first gear is quicker there. Lifted off too late for the right-hander. Okay, so now we've done 2 laps on these tyres. They should be a bit warmer now. A little bit low on pressure, but not much. Let's try this. See if we can find some lap time. Oh, that was too late on the brakes, Cody. Far too late. Oh, it felt nice through there. Nice bit of slip angle. too much curbing there. Oh, stare at that air steer. Oh, I binned it. That wasn't the setup, that was just me being silly and clipping that sausage curb. Rookie error there. I'll maybe try third gear on the next lap just to see if it's quicker, because the Porsche I'm used to short shifting and using a higher gear to have rotation in the stability on the rear, whereas with the Ferrari I notice a lot of people seem to rev it out a lot more than what I'm used to with the Porsche. So I think we should maybe try third gear for turn 4, because first gear in this right hander coming up definitely feels a little bit quicker, so maybe using a lower gear in turn 4 would also be a bit quicker. I'm not sure, we just need to try it this lap. It's like a tenth of a second in that corner. Oh, come on! Hit the sausage again. Right, let's try and get a good lap together. Okay, slow sector 1, still had about a tenth in there. Turn 4 wasn't great. Hairpin felt good there. Just the rest of the lap wasn't ideal. Oh, I messed up there. Just messed up my braking. That right-hander was very, very close to clipping the sausage curve. Definitely a bit more lap time in the lap there though. Definitely felt a bit better. So let's try get a good push lap together, because the car definitely feels quicker with those couple setup adjustments. Oh, that was nice. Turn 4 felt way better that lap, and it was 4th gear. Bit of a slow hairpin that lap though. Oh! Pushed a little bit too hard on the exit there. So close to hitting the pit entry line there. The pit entry tyre wall. That was very, very close to hitting the pit entry wall, actually. Yeah, just touched the grass on the exit. Spun right around, and yeah, just tried to use that extra bit of track just after the curb. And I used a bit too much of that extra bit of track and touched the grass. So what I think I'll try now is let's try that, see if that has improved it at all. And we've got about 8 minutes left of the session, but that felt better to drive. I just need to get some good laps together, but that definitely felt much better to drive. It's just trying to get some good laps in. But the actual rotation and stuff like that was much better, especially turn 4. Turn 4 felt perfect there. It was just got to watch my consistency with my driving, especially my braking. I need to work on the braking a bit. And let's see what we can do. We've got 8 minutes left of the session before it restarts, so let's see if we can try to get a good lap together before it resets. But yes, so much time in the lap. It's just trying to get the entire lap together and not 3 corners and then binning it. That was nice. Good first sector, 2 tenths. that wasn't great. A really nice first sector though, but turn 4 was a bit rubbish. So nice sector 1, but slow sector 2 that lap. Oh, that braking felt so much better there. Stopped just before the apex, able to get straight on the throttle. Really nice trail braking there. Oh, rubbish exit though there. Just braked a bit too much. Turn 1 was better, but turn 3 wasn't great. Oh, a bit too much curb there. Hi Pata, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Oh, there goes the beer. Okay, so the car feels quick. Just need to get a quick lap together. Bit of a slide out of there. Good turn 1 and 2 though. I wonder if second gear is quicker on the entry to the S section, because I did second gear on the lap that the Delta's based off, and I keep losing time now when I go through that section when I use third gear. So I wonder if I should try second gear on this next lap. Just adjust my braking zone slightly. But I'm going to try it in second gear because you seem to be able to get a better exit. Slightly slower entry but a better exit, which is what you want because you're going up a hill straight after it, up towards the hairpin. So let's try this. too much entry speed there. I think second gears may be faster if I tidy the line up a bit there, because I had a bit of a slide on the entry, but I think that's maybe a bit quicker to use second gear. Ah, there we go. Right, let me save this setup. Let's try this and see if it's better. I think that felt better, but I don't really know how much quicker it is, so we'll start off with this setup and do this session, see if we can find any time. Just want to check something quickly. Let me just check what the current best lap is on the Ferrari on Popometer. I think the world record is a 1:39.8. Okay, so Nils Naliox on Kailami was a 1:40.657 in the Ferrari. So we definitely got a 0.6 because we did like a 0.7 on Friday. But the quickest lap is a 1:40.270. So yeah, we at least want a mid 140. And let's check. Just out of curiosity, because I've got a really nice setup for the Porsche at Barcelona. What's the quickest lap? Oh, 42.6. Quality, that is very, very quick on Popometer there, 42.6. I think my best, just whilst I was practicing, was a 43.3. Let me just have a look here. Oh well, Dario is a 42.5 with the Porsche. Pretty sure that's my teammate Dario, number 2 in the world on AOR. I'm sure that's the same Dario. What was the other track you want to check? So Kailami on the leaderboard for 1.9. Oh, that's not worked. Patch 1.9. The world record is a 139.8, achieved by in both a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. So we at least want to try and get down to a low 140. So yeah, let's go out on track with this setup. I'm going to take my jumper off 1 second. And let's try this, because I think our potential was a 140.870, and there was definitely some more time in the lap after this setup adjustment. So I think if we can get a 0.6 or so, I'd probably be fairly happy with that. Obviously we'd want a little bit more than that, but if we can get to a 0.6, that is certainly a good start. Oops. Apologies about that, I just knocked my ice. Right, let's try this, see what kind of lap times we can do, because if our potential was a 0.8, I think we definitely have a bit more with these setup adjustments. But still, I mean, even our 0.8, that is 1 second off the world record in the Ferrari. Like, that is quite a large gap. I mean, per corner, it's probably less than 1/10 of a second, but over a whole lap, a second is actually quite a big margin. But I'm pretty sure I did a 140 race pace yesterday, but the temps were lower, so see what kind of lap time we can do with this setup. I think I'll just stay with this setup for a wee while, do a couple runs and just get used to this setup, because there isn't much more I want to change with the setup. It's rotating nicely. The only thing that I don't like is the braking, but as far as mechanical grip and aero and all that stuff, it feels quite good. Oh, that felt nice. A bit slow, but that felt nice. Corners like that, you've got to have full confidence in the car to fully commit to it. So that's why I wanted to make the setup have good rotation, yet still stable, because if it's not stable there, then you don't want to commit. Should use more track in turn 1. Okay, a slow lap to begin with, but it is our first valid lap on this set of tyres, but it will be quite slow. I'm not really pushing that hard for this one. Right, there's our first lap. Very slow, but at least gives us a banker lap. Then we can push and find some delta. That felt quite nice turn 1 actually. Oh, that was rubbish. Oh no, completely messed up. Need to stop using third there, I need to use second. Oh, that penultimate right-hander felt really nice. Messed up the final corner, but that right-hander felt really, really good. Really nice rotation there. Oh, the understeer. Completely went wide there. Need to get a touch of rotation when you tap the brakes. Like you almost want to put it into a little bit of a slide on the entry because it struggles to rotate. It's frustrating driving the Ferrari here. It feels like driving the McLaren almost, because the McLaren I struggled with here, because the Porsche, I really like driving the Porsche here, and it's probably the best car at Coolermaster. It felt amazing. After the update, I'm not so sure it's the quickest anymore here, but before the big update, the Porsche was amazing to drive here. I'm gonna assume it's still good to drive here because it's still the same type of car. It's just with the new BOP, I'm not sure. I think the Lamborghini holds the world record, so yeah, let's see what we can do here. Sector 1 not great. Neither was turn 4. Yeah, this lap is just rubbish. Too many mistakes. Right, let's just go for a full send lap. No, come on. Nice 360, but there's killed my tires. Right. Okay, small setup adjustment, and see what I can do. Let me have a look. Right, let's try. I think we need to change the gears slightly on a few of the corners, because I think I need to be using first gear for this one, second gear on the entry to this one, and yeah, I'd need to try and remember that, because I'm so used to using a particular gear that I don't really think about what gear I'm using when I go into the corner, because it's just the gear I always use. I don't give it that much thought. I'm more looking of my braking points and things. So I need to actually remember to use the correct gear, because I just don't think about it that much. So yeah, let's try this. I made another setup adjustment that will hopefully help a little bit, so let's push and try and see if this will work. I hope it does, because it's a bit annoying. Just annoying when you've got like, when you did like 0.7 on Friday, I think it was, and I had like 2 tenths in that lap, but that was slightly lower temps, but still should be able to get a much better lap together than I am now. Touched the grass. Right, 43 minutes left of this session. Let's go push and see what we can do. I think with this setup, I think I could at least do a 0.7 if I get the lap together. That's what I think was in my delta in the last session, and I just need to try and find a little bit more time. That didn't feel great. Felt very slidey there. think this is a bit too slidey on the rear. I think the previous setup was better. This adjustment I think is maybe a bit worse, just because although through the rest of the lap it feels better, it's just maybe it's just turn 1 that I've maybe just got to watch the throttle a bit more. Let's try tidy up that first sector a bit. Okay, that felt quick. Another 39.8 in the middle sector, that's probably my best middle sector. Just final and first sector wasn't ideal on that lap, but that felt very, very quick. Car feels very nice. Oh, completely messed up that corner. Oh, yep, completely messed up this lap. Sector 1 was a little bit better, but I just completely messed up Sector 2 there. The car feels nice though. I think I can do... Well, the potential's a 0.8 and I think I've got more than a 0.8 in the lap, so it feels nice. Just need to get the lap together. But this, I think, is maybe a bit of an improvement. It is a little bit more slidey on the rear. I do have to be careful, but it feels quicker. So, just need to... Got enough fuel for one more lap, so let's just send it for this lap and see if it's quicker. bit slower than last lap in the first sector. That turn 4 wasn't ideal either. That was a little bit quicker through there. That was slow. So yeah, there is a lot of lap time in the car. Just need to get it tidier. Oh, too wide. Yeah. Right, so I think that setup is okay. I think I just need to tidy up the driving a bit because yeah, so there's a 10.5 in the final sector, and then about half a tenth in the first sector. So maybe about 2/10 in a lap for sure. But I'm still, even with my potential of a 140.8, I'm still 1 second off the record. The world record for the Ferrari here is a 139.887, and then the second quickest Ferrari is a 139.952. So I'm still just under a second off the world record. So it's still quite a bit off the record. So I mean, a 140.8 wouldn't even put me in the top 60. The top 60 is a 140.6 just to get in the top 60 in the world. So yeah, let me try 1 or 2 more little things because there's quite a bit in the potential lap. And I want to see what else we could do. Let's try this and see if we can improve our potential, even if we don't get the lap together. I just want to see if we can actually find more lap time, because I know basically with that potential that we've got a 0.8 in the lap. So if I get my perfect lap and put all my 3 best sectors together, I'm still second off the record, so I need to find more time. So just adding a bit more rotation, a bit lower brake bias as well, and just see what we can do. Right, too early there. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna maybe try And after we get a good lap in, I'm going to maybe try second gear for the right hander in that final sector, just after the back straight, because it feels a bit more stable, but I'm not sure if it's actually quicker. You have lower revs, but you don't seem to slide as much. Way too wide. Bit too much of the curb there. Well, that was a nice first sector. Probably one of the best we've done this session. Right, let's go again. 2 laps of fuel. Oh, that was a nice first sector. 2 tenths. Best first sector I've done, I think. Oh, awful final sector there. Good first sector, tiny bit slower in the middle sector than my best, but just messed up in the final sector there. Just a bit of a slide on the entry of the penultimate corner. Just enough to cost me a little bit of, like a tenth or so of lap time. About half a tenth lost on that left-hander. Best middle sector yet, 39.7. The first sector was rubbish, so didn't really see it on the Delta, but that middle sector was a 39.7, which I think is best we've done. So this is feeling much better. Potential's now 707. So this is good. My left wrist though is, or my left hand is now in agony from gripping the steering wheel so well. Oh, potential is a 0.6 after that good middle sector. Ah, this lap's rubbish. But the car feels nice. That is my best potential lap I've done. So let me save this as version 8. Because yeah, that felt quite nice to drive. That felt really good. And our best lap, we lost almost the entire tenth in the middle sector, and oh wow, we lost almost 2 tenths in the final sector, so that is why we've got a potential of a 0.6. So we've lost basically 2.5 tenths on that good lap. So our best, that's my best first sector I've done, I think, in the hot lap server. That was the best middle sector I've done, because my best, even last night, I'm pretty sure my best was a 39.8 something, so that was a 0.7, and a 29.942. I can't remember what my best final sector was, but yeah, that is nice. That is very nice indeed. Just got to send a quick message, and I will be back in a second. So yeah, I am happy with that. I'm actually Now we've saved that setup, I'm going to adjust it. Basically what I did to find more lap time, and I'm going to do it a little bit more of what I already did to see if it helps. Right, so what I've done, as I said, was basically what I did to find the potential of 0.6 with the setup, and I've just done it by another 2 clicks. So basically stiffening up the rear, that's all I'm basically doing there, was stiffening up the rear even more, because the slidiness is probably not great for race setup, but for a hot lap setup it almost needs it. It needs that bit of slip angle. So let's get the tyres warmed up, do like 2 warm up laps and then start pushing, because I think we've got more in the car. Oh, that reminds me actually, let me just make sure Popometer is open in the background to record the lap, just in case I get a fluke. Oh. Just in case I get an absolute fluke lap and get a really good lap without expecting it. I've done that before, where I've done like just a lap has just been perfect and I wasn't recording because I didn't expect to do that kind of lap time. But yeah, the car's feeling good, so potentials are now a 0.6. So our potential was a 0.8 and now we've done a 0.8 and we've got another 2.5 tenths in the lap. So we basically need to get the lap together with those 2.5 tenths in it, get a 0.6. And then we want to find another 4 tenths. If I can get a 0.2, which is the quickest lap on Popometer in the Ferrari, I would be very pleased. On the world leaderboard it's not the quickest lap on lap, it's 0.8 is the quickest lap, but if we get a 0.2 I would be very happy. Tires aren't quite warmed up a bit. A lack of grip there. Quite a bit of wheel spin. Oh dear. That was wide. To the moon there.
Yellow flag, be careful. Yellow flag in sector 3.
There's a huge amount of time in that final corner based off my 0.8, because we did lose quite a bit of time in the final sector. Between that and the penultimate corner, those two slides, there's a lot of time in the final sector. Turn 1 wasn't great there. Neither was turn 3. So not a good first sector basically. Surprised that was still valid. That was very close to track limits there on that right-hander. I know the lap was rubbish, but I thought that would be invalid, but I think it was still valid, surprisingly. Right, let's try to get some good laps in. Tyres are warmed up now. Not great first two sectors, unfortunately. Might still improve if we get this final sector tidy, because there's so much time in these final two corners. Not a great lap there. Right, we've got 2 laps of fuel left. And that lap is rubbish now. Completely outbrake myself into turn 1. Okay, so we'll go for another push lap after this. I said push up instead of push lap. So yeah, we go for another push lap after this. But the setup is feeling good. The lap time is there. I just need to get the lap together. But the lap time is there. I need to tidy up my driving and get it more consistent. But yeah, let's see what we can do. I think we'll do the end of this session in the next 11 minutes, and then that'll be it for the stream. But I'd like to see if we can improve a little bit more by the end of the stream. Try to get a better lap together. Oops, that was wide. Very wide indeed. Right, final lap, let's go. Final lap on this fuel load. see what kind of lap time we can do. Oh, that's messed up already. I messed up turn 1. Just, again, turn 1, I just seem to struggle with the braking consistency. It's that first corner, I'm very inconsistent with the braking. What I would like to check though is the world record Ferrari, what the difference is in my 3 best sectors to him. Because like I say, our 0.6 potential is we're still about 8 tenths off or so off the world record, so let's see where we lose the most time. So we lose quite a bit in every sector, basically. Sector 1 we lose 3 tenths, Sector 2 we lose 2.5, and Sector 3 we lose pretty much exactly 2 tenths. So yeah, we basically are losing between 2 and 3 tenths every sector. So every sector we're losing between 2 and 3 tenths of the world record. So that's actually, when you put it like that, probably not that bad, 2 to 3 tenths each sector. But by the end of the lap we're 8 tenths off, so it's still quite a margin. So let's do this. We've got 8 minutes left, so we'll do this final quali run and then close up the stream, and then be streaming next week at some point. And off stream tonight I will try and see if I can improve this lap at all, but we will see what we can do lap time wise, because the car definitely has more in it. I mean, the world record's 0.8, so the car has more in the lap. I just need to improve my driving and be a bit more consistent. But this, as to regards to setup, I'm not really struggling with the setup. It's more just I need to find the limit of the car with my driving. I need to drive the car better, but the actual setup feels almost perfect now. Compared to what I was using on Friday as well, this feels much better. It's just trying to improve the consistency of my driving. Because like that, we've got 2.5 tenths in a lap. So we need to just be a bit more consistent. So yeah, 7 minutes left of the session. See how many laps we get in before the end. And I have found, like, the first 2 warm-up laps, there's no point pushing that hard because there just isn't enough grip, especially in turn 1 there. I just kept getting wheel spin for at least the first 2 laps until the tyres had warmed up, so there isn't much point pushing. Curb. Okay, so we've got enough time for at least 2 more laps. That's the tyres warmed up now. Just be able to get some push laps in. Let's see what we can do. Oh, messed up sector 1. Just too much curb there.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
Touch too early with the throttle. Just going to cut that because I was just going to spin if I tried to save that. And I still spun. Right, we get one final lap. We've got enough time for one final lap and then that will be it. We've got enough fuel for 2 laps, so our fuel will be quite low for this run, which is good.
Yellow flag, be careful.
Ah well. Found some lap time compared to what I was doing yesterday, which is good because yesterday my best in the hot lap server, I think my best valid was a 0.1 or a 0.0 and the potential was a 0.8, but I couldn't get a 0.8 together, so at least we got down to a I'll just save that to V8. At least we got down to the 0.8 and got that valid, and there was a 0.6 in the lap, so that's good. Still 8/10 off the world record, but if I can get down to a point, if I could get a 0.2, I'd be really happy, but if I could at least get like a 0.4, then that would be good. Because basically we've got a 0.6 potential, so if we could improve the potential and get a valid like 0.4, that would be good. And then yeah, I'd be really happy if we could get a 0.2. But happy with the setup, because I made some setup adjustments and that definitely did feel better by the end. It's just, yeah, just not ideal. It's just not perfect, I should say. But it is much better. So I think, like I say, with it, maybe 1 or 2 setup adjustments, not much, and really practice the driving, I think we can definitely improve a bit more. But yeah, currently the world record is in a Lamborghini with a 39.872, and P2 in the world is in the Ferrari with a 39.887. Only the top, that's interesting, only the top 3 in the world have done a 39, whereas pre-update patch 1.8, the fastest in the hot lap server was a 39.0. So after the no, sorry, in patch 1.8, 39.0 was the world record, but there was a hot lap event and someone did a 38.8, I think it was. It was, I think, the world record. So after the update, the laps are almost a second slower, basically. So P4 in the world on 1.9 is a second slower than the world record on patch 1.8. So the quickest on 1.9 is a 39.872, and that's 8/10 slower than the world record of the previous game version. So the lap times have definitely dropped since the update, but it will be interesting to see. Like I say, I need to improve my driving and maybe make 1 or 2 setup adjustments, but I don't want to adjust the setup much more. I just want to try to keep it the same and just practice the driving, because there's a lot more in the lap just for my driving. So if I can improve my driving and then maybe make 1 or 2 setup adjustments. But what we did there, stiffening the rear, it made it more slidey and harder to drive, but for a hot lap it was definitely better. So just maybe not great for a race setup, but definitely for the hot lap it was good. So I think that's going to finish us up for the stream today. Not sure when the next stream will be. The next planned race isn't until Friday next week, so I think we'll do try get some streams in next week, because we've got to practice for Paul Ricard, and we've got to practice Paul Ricard, and I think it's Laguna for the Ferrari on Friday. So we need to build a setup and practice for that as well. So but yeah, I think that's everything for just now. So as always guys, big thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and